Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you very much for coming on to another episode of Startup Talks. Today we have somebody special who's worn many hats. He's into STEM, into programming, he's into social work, he's into space sciences, and lots of things. But today we are going to talk to him about his startup. He's a co-founder of QriosityNet, which is the sort of like the LinkedIn for students, and also touch upon Changemaker Exchange. Both of these companies were founded during the pandemic. So thank you very much, Nahyan, for joining us. By the way, he's also the MIT innovation leader. He's been through the boot camp recently. So he's a pretty good fellow to follow. How are you
Too
doing?
kind.
I hope I've done justice here.
I think you've gone above and beyond, but thank you so much.
So, how's it going? What's curiosity all about?
Absolutely. Well, curiositynet.com is, and I've been told many times not to pitch it that way, but unfortunately, I just can't stop. So, curiositynet.com is essentially LinkedIn for students.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll come to why we've been told not to do it that way just a few minutes from now. So,
Mm-hmm.
curiositynet.com is essentially allowing employers to find the right candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, LinkedIn is doing that, Rosie is doing that, and many other different companies and different startups who are actually still doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What essentially sets us apart is that we're really getting into the sourcing bit of the entire HR thing, right? You're going right at the start where your corporates, your MNCs, your family companies, and all these different employers are essentially having difficulty finding the right candidate. So we're starting right at the tip of the iceberg and allowing all the employers and everyone to find the right candidate and then move on from there. So another thing that we're really excited about with curiositynet.com is our verified data. So what that essentially does is anyone who creates a profile on CuriosityNet, they can get that data verified on blockchain. So just as a very quick example, really, let's say for example, I've got my university results. I've uploaded that on curiositynet.com, and then I can basically request for verification. I can send a request to my institution who is also a part of curiositynet.com.
Mm-hmm.
So once I've sent a request, the institution has a look at the soft copy that they received on curiositynet.com with the hard copies or with their results or with their own directories that they have. Once they've taken a look, once it's all good, they just click on verify, and this entire process then basically gets stored on your blockchain. So that over there, then you have a secure and 100% verified data, which is all stored on the blockchain. So that's something that we're really excited about as well.
Okay. Now, since you're talking about blockchain, right? First of all, is Curiosity Net, is it centered around the Pakistan market or outside Pakistan too? That's the first part of the question. Because if it is centered around Pakistan, blockchain technology, as far as HR is concerned, is not very deep just yet. It's on not even in the nascent stage right now, right? It's only just kicking off. And as far as verifications are concerned, I believe you've heard of Tasdeeq as well, right? They are also doing the same thing as far as verifications go, right? So, how does this all fit in? I mean, is it centered around Pakistan? If it is, then what does blockchain? How far can it go into it? Or if it is going, if it is global, what is it then?
Right. So first of all, so curiositynet.com is the way we picture it. It's not a local entity; it's a global entity. So it's a startup essentially reaching out because HR problem isn't just localized in Pakistan. I mean, every
Mhm.
employee that we've come across, have talked to, whether they be in Pakistan or Australia, where I'm based, or US, where the company is based, everywhere
Mhm.
we reached out to, essentially that problem persists.
Yeah.
So it's not a local. It's just not a local problem. First of all, it's a global thing.
Mhm.
Number two, as far as Asia is as far as blockchain is concerned, I think you're absolutely right on that. It's in Pakistan for the time being. It's something very, very new. People are just hearing about it. So startups have just started working towards it. So that essentially in itself answers the question. If it is a global entity, blockchain is essentially targeting everything around it. So, it really doesn't. I think one of the questions you asked was, is CuriosityNet all around blockchain? Does it encompass all of it? So it's a part of it, yes, a very important part of it. But in Pakistan, at least, the way we're working on it is we want HEC or the degrees that are being given to the students by universities, we want them to be verified on the blockchain, just so that there's a huge fake degree issue in Pakistan.
Mm.
That's basically one of the pain points that we're targeting through CuriosityNet.com.
Mhm. So how many people do you have on there on the network then?
Right. So we launched on the 8th of March, and so far we have just over 5,000 users who are currently actively engaging with the platform, using it, putting up posts, and so on and so forth. So in terms of our users, B2C users, excellent traction. And as for our B2B users who are our employers, we've recently onboarded some startups just to stress test exactly what's going on. But within this coming week or so, we're going to start approaching corporates and start bringing them on board as well.
Okay. And you are helping them with the hiring as well, because there is a huge problem in Pakistan. Not only in Pakistan, I think it's a global phenomenon. Even big tech firms are going through it. There is an acute shortage of expertise, especially when you talk of tech expertise. And even if organizations they do get people on board, there's somebody waiting in line to snatch them away, right? So you're solving that problem as well.
Absolutely.
And is there a training kind of a bit involved as well? Because this is a continuous evolution right now.
Absolutely. Not for the time being. It is on the books, but a few years down the line, but on our runway in the next 2 to 3 years, we do plan to include training modules as well.
Hmm.
That will just and it's essentially set us up as the next HR thing on the block.
Okay. So what got you down to it? What was the reason behind getting into curiosity, right? I'm curious about it.
So you're curious about it, right? It's actually it's
Because because you start with
funny
one thing, right?
how much do we use that word in our daily conversation, the word curious.
Thank God there's no cat here to kill me, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So I think the one of the things was CuriosityNet started off with what we wanted to do was that we wanted to set up this recruiting platform of sorts for early career individuals or students who are just graduating out of university.
Mhm.
LinkedIn, please don't get me wrong, is a beautiful platform. I love it. I use it regularly. I reached out to you on LinkedIn as well. And that's why we're sitting over here today. So LinkedIn itself is a beautiful problem. But it's essentially what LinkedIn has done is what we're trying to do is we're solving a problem that has been created by LinkedIn itself. And that is it's undermined the efforts, it's undermined the not experience, but it's essentially undermined the efforts of our university students. So
Yeah.
we did a huge survey with university students around, mostly in Pakistan. So I think the sample size is around 700-800 university students, most of them from Karachi.
Mhm.
So we reached out to them and asked them, do you have a LinkedIn profile? It was like a 50-60% answer who said they do. Do
Mhm.
you actively use it? They don't actively use it. Have you created it properly? They haven't created it properly. And when we asked them, why don't you use it, right? You can get a job here. Their main answer was that we just feel overwhelmed because most of the offers you find on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
they're for people with 10 years experience or 3 years experience or 7 years experience. And you have these really bright and very, these people who just graduated out of university, fresh on the market,
Mhm.
willing to prove themselves. They're out of a job. They can't do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they're going up against these really experienced individuals. So that was the first thing that we sought. So finding the right candidate,
Mhm.
because something that we've seen, and according to a few, I think, reports by the World Economic Forum that we went through as well, was that the future is a skills-based economy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you have is you have these really bright individuals with a lot of skills, willing to prove themselves, but nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that, we found a disconnect, and that disconnect is in itself a problem. On one hand, you have the employers saying that they can't find the right talent. On the other hand, you have these really amazing people who are just willing to who are trying to get some sort of an opportunity. CuriosityNet is the thing that brings them together.
I am a big fan of LinkedIn. I'm not going to talk anything against them, right?
Right.
But there is a problem. There is a huge number of users on LinkedIn. A lot of companies use them. It's used as a premium hiring social network as well. But I feel people are trapped in the algorithm, right? There's no way to move around that, and plus it's a business entity, it's there to make money as well, right?
True. True.
I don't know if you're going to be looking into making money if in the future or not, right? I don't think with just 5,000 users, nobody's going to get trapped into an algorithm just as yet, and until
That's true.
unless you start knocking on LinkedIn's doors,
Right.
right? So,
Absolutely.
so uh, w- you've got Changemaker as well, Changemaker
Yes.
Exchange, right? I want to talk
Yes,
about
absolutely.
that too. And plus, you've been into space sciences. This is a huge shift from one side of the universe to another, right? So, what's the
Absolutely.
story behind that?
Sure. So I basically, once I was done with my A levels from Karachi, I joined a STEM institute called Robotics Labs. And there I happened to meet Zartaj Ahmed, who's the co-founder and CEO at CuriosityNet.com, and who's also the co-founder and CEO of Pi Space Science Education Center, the other space science entity we're talking about.
Yeah.
So once I was done with my A levels, I was interning at a place called Robotics Labs, and then I went for university to Melbourne. When I was there in Melbourne, I joined a place called the Victorian Space Science Education Center,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I got the entire space science education thing from. I had an idea because back then, back in 2014, 2015, STEM education in Pakistan was mostly and wholly dominated and understood as only robotics.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a mindset that I really did want to change. So I came back over here to Pakistan, and honestly, I could find nobody better than Zartaj to actually share this idea with. So I met up with Zartaj again, and I was like, listen, space science is the way to go. STEM education, we can completely, I mean, this is such a tired old phrase, that completely revolutionizing something, but we truly felt like it was something very, very different that people were doing. We were going around in space suits. I mean, we were wearing actual space suits with all the Pakistan badge and everything, all the bells and whistles on it. So yeah, so in 2018, we finally launched Pi Space Science Education Center in Pakistan. So for the next 3-4 years, we worked with different organizations such as UNAP, United Nations Association of Pakistan, UNICEF, the US Consulate in Karachi, Italian Consulate, British Council, and a whole host of other organizations and NGOs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the thing. And then we went, I think the pivot basically came, well, first of all, it came because of COVID, because PSEC was Pi Space Science Education Center, or PSEC for short, was very face to face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, we went to Thar 3 times, and then we had Thar's first Science and Maker Expo, which was attended by, I think, over 2,500 to 3,000 students from all across the Thar district. So that was a big milestone for us for PSEC. So then we really wanted to get into career counseling, because that's something that I had faced when I was doing my A levels. Because Australia isn't one of the regions that students usually go from Pakistan, right? They usually go to Southeast Asia or Europe or America, something a bit more that's something bit more acceptable. I don't know if that's the right word here. So I was going to Australia, and I didn't get a lot of career support in that sense. So I was unfortunately left on my own, that you have to explore on your own and do it yourself. So then I got out and looked at how to get into universities and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
So that's how I finally. So that's why that career counseling twist. Plus, Zataj, my co-founder, herself, she's at Huck Academy as a senior school coordinator. So she's been
Mhm.
in career counseling for students for I think almost a decade now. So
Uh-huh.
I think that experience of what I had, and then how I taught myself of what the different, uh, you know, hoops I had to jump through, and then Zartaj with her experience of student counseling. I think that paired up together, and then we came up with CuriosityNet.com.
Science is actually, I'm not passionate about science, but my son
Right?
is, right? My 13-year-old son, he is into STEM, plus he's into coding as well. He's been through Java and SQL and
Wow,
whatnot and
that's
whatnot,
fantastic.
right? So he's doing, he's actually homeschooled, and just before the pandemic, we took him out of school, but he's actually performed a lot better during the pandemic out of school. Anyways, coming back to your thing, uh, I'm fascinated about people who try and bring change through technology, right? Try and improve people's lives, not as commercial entities, but as a social impact entities. I was looking at your Changemaker Exchange website, right? And I think it's doing just that. This is also a new venture, I believe, right? Uh, uh, can you touch on that? Is that also centered around Pakistan? I've also interviewed some people in Pakistan, but I don't see many who are into making such a social impact on a larger scale or a larger community. So, what's Changemaker Exchange all about then?
Right. So Changemaker Exchange essentially is something that I am a part of.
Mhm.
So Changemaker Exchange was founded by two people from Ashoka, which is, Ashoka is this huge NGO. Again, I might not be able to do justice to how
Mhm.
big and amazing Ashoka actually is. So I'm not going to talk too much about it.
Mhm.
So Changemaker Exchange was essentially created from two graduates of Ashoka, and then they came and then they built up Changemaker Exchange.
Mhm.
What Changemaker Exchange does, or CXC for short does, is that it identifies all these different CXCs or change makers throughout the globe. So they have these different cohorts: Asia Pacific cohort, North American cohort, South American cohort, Latin America cohort. So I was selected for the CXC in 2021, which was this year.
Mhm.
And so I was a part of their cohort. I was selected as I was selected as one of the change makers, and then we were taken through an entire. I think it was a 1 month or 2 month process. I'm for some reason I'm forgetting it. So
Mhm.
we're taken in the entire process of what it means to be a change maker, connecting with other people, and I've met one of the most wonderful people through my CXC experience. Just completely adored them.
Mhm.
I actually happened to meet another Pakistani in this year's cohort CXC as well. So, and he helped us with CuriosityNet.com quite a lot in terms of design and just in terms of setting it up. So, CXC is a beautiful community. If anyone's thinking of applying for it, I most definitely
Mhm.
would recommend you to. The essence of CXC is that you need to be a change maker in your actual life as well.
Mhm.
So I showed off what I had to show them was that with PSEC, which was the Pi Space Science Education Center, in 3 years we were able to reach out to and we were able to inspire over 12,000 students
Mhm.
and over 5,000 teachers worldwide. So that is something that I showed off to them. I was like, this is what I've accomplished so far with my own venture, not funded, completely bootstrapped. So I think that's, at least I'd like to think
All
that's
right.
what got me into CXC.
All right. Now, coming back to curiosity, uh, I believe it's an excellent initiative. First of all, it's got a lot of scope, especially in Pakistan. Um,
Thank you very much.
as long as you don't infuse any wicked algorithm into it, right? Keep that away for some time.
Cross my heart.
Uh, what do you need? How far into it are you right now? I'm not talking about financials, but what do you need help with?
Right. I think what we really need help with is connecting with corporates, connecting with companies who can at least come on board, stress test the product, give us their feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I was in a meeting with someone and I loved what they said. They said that feedback is the most important commodity in the market right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we're craving for, give us feedback on give us feedback on our product, tell us what you need so that we can build it for you. We
Mm-hmm.
can build that solution for you because we have a huge number of students and users just waiting for you to grab, just reach out and grab them.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that the market needs? What is it that the employers need? We've built it. So one of the employees reached out to us and they said, you don't have a dashboard. So we said, that's fine. We'll build you one. So
Mm-hmm.
we've built an amazing dashboard for employers to come and have a look, so they can track their finances that they're putting in. They can track how many hours it took them to find a suitable candidate. There's an entire list of the reasons why a candidate was rejected, why they were accepted. So an entire dashboard around employers. So that was one of the awesome feedbacks we got, and we immediately got to working on it. So that's something that we're looking for right now. We want to reach out to as many corporates. They reach out to us, we reach out to them, just connecting with them,
Mm-hmm.
asking them what their hiring woes are, and then working to solve them.
Can I suggest something here?
I love it. Absolutely, please.
Uh, if you are pitching to corporates, right, and you are pitching to corporates as a solution provider for their just their HR needs, right? If since it's a social networking platform, you it's better to pitch it as a social networking platform. The HR bit is already built into it, right? Am I understanding correctly? Right?
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
so,
You're on the money here.
so if you अम, जैसे उर्दू में कहते हैं ना कि एक चीज़ पाने के लिए आपको उस चीज़ को छोड़ करके किसी और चीज़ पे काम करना पड़ता है
बिल्कुल.
आपको जो है द सेम अप्लाइज फॉर क्यूरोसिटी इफ़ यू मूव ऑन इट as a social platform which also facilitates HR initiatives, right? I think you'll have better luck. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's in this short conversation. That's my understanding.
Right.
And I don't know who you have approached. I believe if you go talk to Angro, they are very much entertaining about these sorts of things. If you go and talk to Kareem, Mudassar Sheikha is a very helpful person. He's very much into this kind of innovative technology. There are loads of people who will be willing to help you out. So, is that all you need help with, just corporates, or are you looking to raise funding as well?
We are looking to raise funding. Absolutely. I mean, every startup is more or less looking to raise funding.
Mm.
We're looking for angel investors who can at least give us a little longer runway for our journey so that we can show them the impact with what we can create. And of course, we're looking for pre-seed funding as well. So
Mhm.
that's also on the books for now.
Chale, that's great. I think we are running out of time. Is there a message you have since you're stuck in Pakistan to all the great people who are looking to settle down since the pandemic is getting over, the startups, because you're associated to some extent with Founder Institute as well. Do you have a message for wannabe founders or people venturing into this space?
Again, I'm not going to give such a message, don't give up on your dreams or ye karo or wo karo, because I
Be
myself am not
realistic.
very accomplished.
Be realistic, because I myself, if
Right.
somebody comes and tells me I want to start something, I tell them, listen, my friend, if you are ready to fail, then you better jump in. If you're not ready, then might as well just open the books and be a bookworm.
Yeah,
Right?
it's true.
Uh,
It's true. I think the message in itself that you said, it encapsulates everything. Be ready to fail, because
you're stealing
yeah,
my
that's the
message.
most. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. I'll come up with something myself. So I think it's so okay. So I think this is an important one. It's not my own. It's not my own thing. I think someone said it to me,
Mhm.
and I think it's just good to have. So your startup should be around a very important pain point that you're solving. Just don't make a startup for the sake of making money. So
Mm-hmm.
what pain point are you solving? I think that's one of the messages I got.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just wisdom I thought I'd pass. And also, get vaccinated if you still haven't. I don't know why people aren't getting vaccinated. So I think that's my message.
Have you approached any VCs? Because in that comment of yours, I saw a little bit of a thing, thought process, your own thought process behind it. Because a lot of founders, their main target is to raise funds, but uh, when they do that, they actually ignore their uh, their core product, the business itself, and they start chasing the investments. The good thing about you, I feel, after that comment of yours, is that you have actually worked on your MVP. It's out there for people to join in, right? And you, yes, you are looking for funding as well, right? So that comes as part of the process, but it doesn't mean that if you don't get funding, you're going to stop it, right? You're going to keep, you'll be compelled to bootstrap and carry on. So
Absolutely.
that's a good thing. So thank you very much, Nayan.
Thank you so much.
I think we'll call it a day here. I really, really enjoyed talking to you.
It
Hopefully,
was my pleasure.
hopefully we'll do it again sometime, not just with you, with your co-founders, Atash.
Co-founder as well. Absolutely.
Thank you very much for coming on to Startup Talks. Have a great weekend.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye bye.
Bye.